Books on the brain.
How are you, little miss? Up all night, crazy, crazy night girl.
I
Getting
mean, you guys are going to
crazy.
hear about it. Welcome back to Books on the Brain, a podcast of books and nonsense. I'm Deirdre,
I'm Danielle.
and we are back with another
Woo,
episode.
woo, 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 woo,
Woo.
woo.
How are we feeling today?
So good. I'm actually feeling very, very, very good today.
Good.
I have fallen asleep. We were talking about Deirdre had some crazy sleeping stuff uh lately, but for the last 2 nights I've fallen asleep on my couch and woken up at like 1 a.m. promptly, just being like and then being like, I have a bed. And like moving myself to my cats are like sleeping in the bedroom. They're like, girl, we're sleeping in our bed. Like,
Yeah. Where have
why
you
are you
been?
sleeping on the couch?
The day prior.
Hmm.
So I think my body was just kind of like, but you're rested.
But girl, you could keep going if
And
you
I'm
want.
like, no, I'm not.
Like,
I'm
please,
not.
please,
Please put me to sleep.
this is
I
gonna
was
have
like,
consequences for me, far beyond what you understand.
I put on my I put on a sleep meditation and I was like in bed doing all my breathing techniques
Yeah.
and because I've like figured out some of the breathing techniques that help me like lower my heart rate and get
Yes.
me like really down there.
Yeah.
Um and I was like, okay, come on. Like clear the mind. I was listening to that sleep meditation for a long time. I was
Yes.
like, okay, okay. Um so that's my sleep situation. I'm still coming off of my allergies really wrecking my respiratory system.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel a lot better than I did 2 days ago. So
Good. You sound so
that
much better.
thank you. It was scary. It was scary there.
I was like, you
But
had like a sexy gravelly voice. I was like, oh my God, who is
I
this?
know. And now I feel like I just kind of sound a little congested, which
Oh,
isn't great. Um, It just feels like I have to constantly clear my throat. Like it feels like there's just like stuff sitting.
yep.
So I just need to go through. I know I have like I bought so much Mucinex the last time I was sick. So I
Yep.
just need to find my like back stock of it and just
Yes.
really like run through all the like decongestant medication that I have.
Well, and I know for sure you have used them up because they haven't been in your empties video. So I know they're somewhere. I know they're somewhere.
I actually don't think I've ever put medication in my empties videos, and I don't know
Guys,
that I
here's my antidepressant.
here's my empty anxiety meds that I'm refilling.
Here's my birth control. Enjoy.
Um,
Um,
okay,
Tell
so
me,
I
go,
think
queen,
I'm
go.
ready. I'm ready to just cold transition,
Yes,
cut,
love.
paste. So we're getting into a little astrology, a little zodiac, and there's some backstory to this.
Yes.
So last year, and this is where like some of the caveats for today's episode are going to come in. Last year, we did a PowerPoint episode with Sanj, and Danielle put together book recommendations based on your zodiac sign.
Yes.
So that is the first stage in our astrology journey.
Yeah.
Then in our Hannah Witten episode, Danielle coined the what is your sun, moon, and rising book genres.
Sure, 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 sure.
And then we have continued to reference that uh since. And as we were brainstorming episode ideas for the season,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, we should do a full Zodiac episode. One, breaking down what this even means, because every
Literally.
time we bring it up, because we've brought it up with two guests now,
It's
they're like,
different.
they're like,
Right?
I need a little explainer, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I need a refresher on what the difference is between sun, moon, and
Literally.
rising. Um, and because we're trying to be a little bit time conscious with our episodes,
Yes.
we're not going to be doing recommendations for every sign in this episode because you have a whole episode to go listen to where Danielle curated some really amazing
It's
recommendations.
mostly trolling.
No, I think it's great.
But
So,
also, if you would like that, let us know.
yeah, like would would love to do that, but we needed something a little quick, a little fun. So we're going to do a little bit of recapping, a little explaining, and
Yep.
then we have created some recommendations based on our own zodiac signs, our own book genre big threes, and then we're going to give each other recommendations. So we hope you enjoy this little truncated astrology episode.
Sit back,
Uh,
get ready to learn.
exactly. So, do you know the difference between sun, moon, and rising?
I do. So, I went through like a big zodiac era as a young 18-year-old. I was like, everything that has ever been said about a Pisces is correct for me. Like a little bit too like I had like a Tumblr where I would like repost all these Pisces things and then I'd
Mm,
write them on post-it notes and put them on my wall in Toronto. Like it was a little crazy. So I do know the difference, but I was reading your explanation of what you found and I like what yours says.
okay. So this is thanks to Ather Beauty. They have a little sun, moon, rising explainer, and that is where I got this information. So sun, which is also known as a star sign. I feel like a lot of people do get a little confused with that. It is interchangeable.
The same thing, Babs.
This is based on your birth date. So where your birth date falls, that's the sign.
Where the
And
sun was in the sky, what constellation it was in the moment you were born.
the day, not moment.
The
Moment
minute,
is rising.
yes, but like this, yes, but it's like the snapshot. If you took a picture of all of the planets and all of the stars, the second you were born, that's how you figure out your.
No, that's rising.
That, no, 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 no. We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. Because the Pisces zodiac is longer, so it's a longer chunk of time that you spend that the sun sends in that.
Hmm.
Do you know what
I
I
see.
mean?
Sure, sure, sure. So the sun represents your core self. It's like the
Yes.
essence of who you are. And a lot of people say that this is your life's purpose. I think you can take that however you want. So then to break that down for each sign, because
Yes.
there's four types of signs: fire sign, earth sign, air sign, water sign. So for fire signs, strong personality, outgoing, loyal, straightforward, and passionate with a flair for the dramatic.
Slay.
Earth signs, grounded, practical, and dependable with a deep appreciation for the tangible.
Okay.
Air signs, intellectual, curious, and sociable, always eager to learn and connect. And water signs, deeply intuitive, nurturing, and introspective, often guided by emotions.
Yeah.
So that's like the main one that people talk about.
Yes.
Then we've got the moon, and I think
Yes.
this is based on where the moon is in relation to the constellations.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
The moon represents your inner world, your emotions, instincts, and what makes you feel nurtured.
Yes.
So for fire moon signs, they crave excitement, passion, adventure, and meaningful connections.
Slay.
Earth moon signs seek stability, routine, and security. Air moon signs thrive on intellectual stimulation, variety, and lots of socialization. And water moon signs need emotional depth, alone time, and nurturing relationships. And then the rising is kind of the one that a lot of people tell you if you don't really feel like you connect with your sun sign, you might connect more with your rising. And this
Yes.
one is based on your time of birth. So it's like the exact time you were born
Yes.
determines your rising.
Yes.
And this represents your outer persona, your first impression, and the lens through which you view life.
Mm-hmm.
Fire risings are bold, energetic, competitive, and unapologetically themselves.
Slay.
Earth risings are grounded, approachable, and pragmatic. Air risings are quick-witted, engaging, and curious. And water signs are intuitive, empathetic, and quietly magnetic.
Ooh.
And that's a little rundown on the actual astrology stuff.
So fun.
And obviously, based on who you talk to, what you've looked into, these things have an ebb and a flow. It's all
Yeah.
in good fun.
We're just
Uh,
here to have fun.
we're just here to have fun. So, Danielle, what is your actual big three?
My actual big three is I'm a Pisces sun, I'm a Sagittarius moon, and I'm a Virgo rising.
Okay, hang on. I need to.
That's okay. So what that kind of like comes
So
off,
you're a water sun,
yeah,
a fire moon,
yeah,
and
Earth, right? Virgo is an Earth.
yeah, and an earth rising. Ooh, I feel like
Yes.
that's a really good.
I'm like, I think what it like, because my like my identity to Pisces is like very what I feel like is my overall impression, but like my day to day, like I get crap done is very much my rising, is very much like, okay, like I'm not super daydreamy, like when it's time to get stuff done, especially in my career, she's
Hmm.
very Virgo. Um, the Sagittarius is, I feel like the like, I just want to know more. Like, I feel
Mm.
like I'm always like, oh, I wanna like I'm gonna go find out more about this rather than like, oh, I'm not a hands off the wheel. I'm like, if there's something I want to know about, I'm gonna go and learn more about it or talk to people about it. I'm always the one who's like, have you guys heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about this thing. Have you guys heard about this on the news? Um, which is kind of annoying, but that's my three. That's my three.
Okay.
What's your three?
I had to re-download CoStar because I always get my moon and my rising flipped.
It's also on Snapchat, in case you were wondering.
I don't know. I haven't had Snapchat in years.
Good for you, girl.
Um, I am a Sagittarius sun,
Hmm.
and I feel very Sagittarius. Like I have always felt like I embody a lot of Sagittarius.
Yes.
Um, it's I feel very connected to Sagittarius. My moon is Aquarius,
Oh my God, fun.
and my rising is Capricorn.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
I've got earth and air in there also.
earth and air.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you have no fire. I feel like you're such a fiery
No,
person.
Sagittarius is fire.
Okay, that I was like, I was like, I feel like you're a fire sign.
I
Okay.
am a fire sign.
Okay. When you said earth and air, I was like, there's no fire in there. I was a little confused, a little bit nervous. Love. Love,
Yeah.
love,
And
love.
I feel like the earth helps balance my fire really well. And then the air just kind of like keeps me going, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because I feel like yeah, I feel like you are one of the most determined people I've ever met in my life. You're
Thank you.
very, very, very like you're gonna make something work and you're gonna have a solution and you're gonna work through things. And I feel like that is sometimes also like you get to be whimsical and funny and like I get to see like sweet, soft Deirdre. Um, but I feel like the core of you is like, I was put on this earth to get crap done.
I've got stuff to do.
Got things to do. And you need to take the please out of the emails.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what Deirdre said to me. Deirdre said, you said too many please in the
Too
email.
many please in the emails. Take it out.
I
Um,
said, received, girl.
understood. So when Danielle brought this idea of like book genres as
Yes.
astrology big three, I have to ask because it did feel like it kind of it was born like in the moment.
Yeah.
Did you have any inclination when you were doing it, or was it really just like off the cuff?
It was really off the cuff. Like I think it was just like, oh, what isn't that kind of funny? Like there like wouldn't it be funny if because I feel like everyone's like, oh, this is kind of like you always see like in Cosmopolitan growing up, there was always
Mm,
like the page where it was like recommendations for your sign of like, here's a movie you should watch for your sign.
yeah.
Here's a book you should watch for your sign. But I'm like, well, if there's ones for your big, like for your sun sign, then why can't you have ones for your moon and rising? And why can't you get like psychotic like that and just go like super in on
Super granular.
super granular? Um, I think it's a funny I think it's just like a funny conversation starter of like, yeah, I'm a this rising. I'm a comic book rising. You're like, oh my God, what does that mean? It's like gibberish where you're like, yeah. But it also kind of feels like fun, like insider baseball talking. It's like
Yes.
the book girlies and the Zodiac girlies are like a circle
But
sometimes.
but also like if you were to say I am a thriller son,
Yeah,
I would be like, "Oh, got it.
right.
I
No
I
great one.
understand you. I
Yes.
understand the books that you like.
Yes.
More than just like I mean, people are gonna be like, this is so stupid. And maybe it's because I do love astrology and I've
Yeah.
like been in astrology minded places for so much of my life.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand that a little more than just like, oh, what do you read? I mostly read thriller.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
And especially because like we like to break it down with all three. Like if you were to tell me you're a thriller son, a
Yes.
um uh
Literary fiction,
literary fiction moon
sports
and
romance rising.
sports romance rising, I would be like, I understand you.
I'd be a little confused because I don't know what the
I mean,
frick.
I don't really know what your favorite book would be if that was your big three. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I would have a recommendation for you.
I'd say good luck.
Actually,
Yes, go queen.
I
Literary.
think if there was a like
Mm,
shifter
okay.
sports romance that felt like an Emily Henry book,
Okay.
that would be what I would recommend.
Or had like a like FBI agent subplot where it was like, and then also they were in witness
Yeah.
protection or like
Oh,
something like that.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, just
Yes.
kidding. You are
Actually, yeah, I
valid,
think I
whoever
actually
you are.
could. I don't have a book to recommend you, but
Yeah,
I feel like based off of that, I maybe could find you one.
I could cobble you something together. That is really funny.
So,
Um, yes,
you told
go.
me before we started recording that your
Yes.
big three had changed.
Yes. Okay, so like here's the thing. I feel like I yeah, I just feel like I've had a shift. Like especially like in my like late 30s. Late 30s, she says, as she's 31.
We're in our early 30s, babe.
That's
We
like
haven't even begun.
as I'm in my 55s. Um
We
Jesus.
are adult teenagers.
Yeah, literally. Okay, receipt, receipt. In my late 20s is what I meant to say. I feel like um when I think about books that like I love versus the books that I read most often. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm. Hmm.
because I feel like for me there's a discrepancy. Like because often I'll read a lot of books,
Yeah.
but I'm like giving them like 3 stars. Like I'm like I don't love these books. So if I think about what I've read the most of, that doesn't always translate to what I feel like represents me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my big three, I think, has changed. Dun dun dun, she says.
Dun
Here it
dun dun.
is. My son is always going to be romance. I feel like that is like the core of my being. That is the light in my heart. I am just a romance. Even in any book I'm reading, there has to be romance a little bit. Like that's
Hmm.
if it's a thriller, if there's a horror, whatever, it has to have a little romance. That is my life. That is my life's purpose, is to be loved and feel love in return.
Hell yeah.
Um, and then my moon is essay collections. Like anything, I love getting books from the bookstore, like just going to the nonfiction section and being like, what is a topic that is interesting to me today? And
Hmm.
I also really like listening to them in audiobooks too and being like, oh, this is really interesting. And then reading it, hearing someone like an expert, someone who is the best in their field of a topic, just talking about something they're passionate about. I'm like, I love this. It's like a little TED talk for my eyes.
Hmm.
Um, so I feel like my moon of like my inner workings of like there's things that I feel very passionately about. There's like causes and different like things where I'm like, and I like in my own personal life, like queer rights and trans rights, right? Like
Hmm.
things like that where I'm like, I will always be the person in the conversation being like, but actually, like to an annoying amount.
Hmm.
But I feel like that is a side that I often don't show other people, but it's like it's always brewing. It's always brewing underneath the surface.
Hmm.
And then my rising, I feel like is kind of like fantasy, like romantasy kind of vibe. Like I feel like that's the vibe I give off to people. Um, Whimsical, and part of that is the Pisces. You know, it's the whimsical, it's the like I'm very gregarious. I'm like um I like to have big ideas. So I feel like, yeah, I'm just kind of like a fantasy. That's how I kind of come off. But like not like um mine would be uh like not so much high fantasy. I feel like that's not so much. I feel like low
Hmm.
fantasy, like
Yeah.
a little bit of magic in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know? Okay, what
Yes.
is yours?
Yes. So mine has not changed. I feel like
That's the Sagittarius in her.
it's the Sagittarius in me. I am for sure a fantasy son. I've
Yes.
been back in a fantasy reading mood, and every time I'm back in a fantasy reading mood, I'm like, why did my mood end? Why was I reading so many contemporary books?
True.
I don't want to read that.
True.
Um, so fantasy sun, romance moon,
Yes.
especially when moon says it represents your inner world, your like emotions and instincts, and
Yeah.
like what makes you feel nurtured.
Yes.
That for me is romance. Like
Yes.
when my fantasy books have satisfying romance, and I feel like that is the distinguisher for me. It doesn't have to be romantasy. It could
No.
be a fantasy book that just happens to have a really satisfying romance in
Yes.
it. I'm
Absolutely.
like, ooh, ooh, it like it feeds my soul.
Yes.
But then when I get a really good romantasy, I'm like, oh, oh, you've done it.
This is the
You've done
stuff. Put it in my
it.
veins.
Exactly. Inject it right here.
Injected in.
And then my rising. I like I'm not quite sure what to distinguish it as, whether it is horror or gothic.
Okay.
Um, because I do like the darkness.
The darkness calls
The
me.
darkness calls to me.
Yes.
Um, I I was reading something.
Yes.
What was I reading? Oh, I was reading my co-star.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let me pull it up.
Pull it up.
I was reading my co-star specifically about my rising in Capricorn.
Yes.
And it says, my ascendant, my rising, is in Capricorn, meaning I come across as conservative, serious, and rational, perhaps even grave. And I was like, oh. And I don't think they mean conservative
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
political sense. They mean it in like an emotional
She's a
sense, which
Republican.
certainly not.
Certainly not.
Nobody goes spreading those rumors. Um, which I do feel like I do. I do feel like I come off emotionally reserved.
Okay. Okay.
um a lot of the time. And the like perhaps grave, I was like, oh yeah, this to me, like for that it like clicked for me, the like I don't know why it like clicked for me, the horror aspect. I was like, oh yeah, because I really do not like when my fantasy books are just like all happy-go-lucky. Like, don't get me wrong, I like a cozy fantasy every
Sure.
once in a while, but cozy
Yes.
fantasies are not my favorite fantasies.
No.
I like a little grit. I like a little friction. I like a little emotional turmoil with the characters. I like a little emotional turmoil in the world.
Yes.
Like I need a
Yes.
little something to grab onto. And I feel like that's where I get my like rounding out of
Yes.
everything.
So the idea of the episode now is that we're going to give recommendations to ourselves of fellow Pisces Sagittarius fellows, and then give recommendations to each other and then try to decipher our weird big three specific
Yes.
recommendation. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Just
Um,
popped up.
she did. She
So
said,
cute.
um, okay. Pisces Sun. This is
Hmm.
my recommendation for Pisces Sun. And I didn't pick a mermaid book. And I was clear about that. I said no mermaids.
No mermaids for you.
Because I feel like that's the first thing. Pisces, it's the fish. They're like, you like the Little Mermaid. I'm like, ah. I actually do like the Little Mermaid's fine, but it's not my goal. It's not my
Yeah,
list.
don't go
Stepping into your
ragging
brain.
on my girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. So Pisces Sun, I thought about like it talks a lot about empathy, talks a lot about being like intuitive and like being in your feelings and kind of being the person that people come to for advice or to like talk things through with. So that's kind of what I based my recommendations on. Um, the first one is a memoir. Actually, two of them
Mm.
are memoirs, which I thought
Wait, how many recommendations did you do? I only did one.
I did three, but they're all very small. They're all very small. They're very light recommendations. Um, one was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, um,
Ah.
which is a memoir about this family who like basically lives off the grid. And it gives very like The Great Alone, Kristen Hanna vibes. But the reason I recommended this is because I saw the movie first before this is the movie cover.
Mm.
The movie before I read the book, and I just sobbed through movies. So then I was like, oh, this is very Pisces because I was like, what are books that I just sobbed through? So that became my barometer. The second one, I don't have my physical copy. I don't know where it is. Um, Educated by Tara Westover, another memoir about like I overcame adversity, like the integrity and the amazement of what the humans can achieve and like what people can do when they just feel inspired and wonderful. And I feel like as a Pisces, when I read stories like that of like and because it can even be in fantasy, it can be romance where people are like, I really want something and I'm working towards it and like my life's mission has become to be this.
Hmm.
Those stories always move me so much. I'm like, I don't like the stories where like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, no, tell me what you're gonna do. Go do the thing. Work really, really hard for the thing. So, Educated by Tara Westover, The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and then this is kind of insider baseball. By insider baseball, I mean obviously, but The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I feel like is such a Pisces story. Um, there's something like whimsical, the magic in it, but also like the Addie's journey through it and like the work she's had to put into herself
Hmm.
um is very Pisces. And I feel like I sobbed through the ending of this. I think most people sob through the ending of this. Um
I think if you liked it, you subbed to the
okay,
ending.
and you know what? True and fair, received. Um but there's something about like books that leave me with like I close the book and my stomach is like churning and I'm just like my heart feels empty and my chest aches. That feels like a Pisces book to me.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of books that I picked for that.
Okay. You really went so much more above and beyond than I did. I have one recommendation, but my recommendation is a trilogy.
Yes,
I picked a
that's three
series.
books.
So for Sagittarius,
Yes,
I was thinking about outgoing,
yes,
straightforward,
yes.
and then passionate with a flair for the dramatic was like where I really
Love.
was thinking, like, okay, let me really think about this. And I was like, it's gotta be the Meet and Mishap series by Kimberly Lemming.
Yeah.
Because Sagittarius, like one of the main traits of Sagittarius is they're known for travel and they like don't want to be in one place for too long.
Love.
And the first book and the third book take
Yeah.
place across multiple locations, and it's really about this like physical transformation, emotional transformation, like they're moving through stuff and like moving through emotional blocks. Um, and then the second book is kind of like in one place, but there's like a cult thing happening. So I feel like there's a good trajectory across all three books that feels very Sagittarius to me.
Yes.
And then when you add in the like shifter aspect
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and a lot of the romance emotions in the book are so fiery. Like the characters are so passionate about their love interests,
Yes.
uh, to a like detriment for some of them.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's it's this. It's just whatever this is, which I feel like is Sagittarius. Um, so that was my Sagittarius recommendation.
Sagittarius Sun, what I focused on, what like spoke out to me when I was looking was the travel aspect of like, okay,
Mm.
some like not so much in like even changing locations, but just that it feels like a lot like it's grand. There's
Hmm.
grandness to it. There's like um yeah, just like even if we're staying in one location, it feels like the location is big, which kind of gives away what one of the recommendations is, but anything Stephanie Garber, specifically Caraval or Once Upon a Broken
Ah,
Heart, I feel like for Sages would love the like wa wanderlust of
I mean,
Caraval is very like it's so robust. The world is so fleshed out. It's such a fun um like convention of like there's this magical carnival that comes around and you get tickets to it and you get to go and then also like maybe you won't survive or people like there's like a little darkness to it which is kind of fun. Um yes, I feel like this was and because this also there's romance in this but also there's like a lot of deception. So I feel like there's a like a little bit of an analytical like oh I have to kind of like think about this and
mm,
like um we're not just along for the ride. There's a little bit like more to go. Specifically, what my first impulse was Once Upon a Broken Heart because um, this one is very. This series is very romantic,
mm,
but it's also like devastating. Um, it's very romance heavy. It's also got like um, there's a lot of it's not like it's kind of like tarot, but like kind of like this like
mm.
magical element into it. Uh this and then I had one other one. Um what did I write? Oh yeah, Quietly Hostile by Samantha Irby. It
Oh,
was a non it was a memoir that I had read during COVID actually.
oh,
There was something um it was, she narrates it herself, the audiobook. And I remember just reading it and being like, this person is being like their most authentic, true self, which is what I feel like Sagittariuses are so them. And Samantha was talking just kind of about like, this is what perception of what people see me as, but then this is what actually is going on behind the curtain. And I felt like that's something that Sages I think would be able to like kind of connect with.
I love those.
And that's it.
That's fun. I do need to read Caraval. I can't
I
believe I
think you
haven't
would
read
really
it.
like it. I think
I
your
know.
Night Circus self would really like it.
I agree.
Or would hate it in a cheap imitation of. But I think you would at
I think
least find
Caraval came out
it might
first.
have. I honestly don't know. But they from my understanding of what Night Circus is and what I've read Caraval, I think they are very different.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And Caraval is YA, right?
Sure is. It sure is. And so is Once Upon a Broken Heart. So it
Excuse me.
is.
Um, okay, so for Pisces sun, I really tapped into the like guided by emotions part, like
Yes.
the deeply intuitive, guided by emotions. And
Yeah.
so my recommendation is The Dollar Gut Dream Department Store by Mie Lee, translated by Sandy Jusin Lee. It's a Korean translation.
Fun.
And this book is about a like there's a town hidden in our collective subconscious that we can access when we go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
And one of the places in this town is called the Dollar Get Dream Department Store. And it is quite literally a place where people come when they are about to start dreaming to
Yes.
pick out a dream. And it feels very like video game-esque, where there are dream designers and there's different floors that do different like genres of dreams.
Mm.
And we are following a new hire at the department store as she is like uncovering how the department store works, how dreams work, um, understanding the owner a little bit. And if my memory serves correctly, we get to go into a couple different POVs throughout the book.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. Like the way it unfolds and the way we get to emotion and the way we get to the ending. Like the ending does leave you so like fulfilled, but like you've been crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, that was like so cathartic. Um, I think there's a sequel, actually. I do think yes, duology. I haven't read the sequel yet, but I would, based on the first book, I would probably recommend the sequel as well.
Yes.
Um, and it was one of those books where I was like, I have never read anything like this, and I will likely not read anything else like this outside
Yeah.
of something else created in this world by this author. Um, and that's my recommendation.
Yes. Love. I've never heard of this. This is so fun.
Oh, it's delightful. And it's short. It's actually a lot smaller than you think it's going to be,
Yeah.
but it's so lush, which I feel
Yes.
like is another aspect to this recommendation.
Yes. Love. Love, love,
Yeah,
love. Great rec. Great
thank
rec.
you.
Okay. My recommendation for, dear God. Okay. What did I say? I said I um for Romance Sun, Essay Collection Moon, Fantasy Rising. So for
Hmm.
three, my recommendation is I have two. One is um it's specifically the third book in this series, but the Foxhead thing, the Nightshade Crown series. Why I think this is the perfect romance, sun, essay collection, kind of like nonfiction, moon, fantasy rising is because the relationships in this book. The relationships in this book and the like dynamics and um of that way, like I feel like this is so much more than just a fantasy book because
Hmm.
it is fantastical, but I feel like the moral dilemmas and the things that are being like talked about content-wise um kind of f feed um that nonfiction moon. Um but yeah, there's just something that about this also because the Nightshade, what is it called? The last book, the Nightshade.
Nightshade God.
I think so. I can't quite recall at this moment, although I know it's on my shelf somewhere. Um, just sobbing through.
Hmm.
Like just sobbing. We both just sobbed through that last book. But there's a little bit of everything. I think like the romance is really central in this book, which is
Yeah.
why romance is really, really central in this series. And then the fantasy kind of just gets to like live on top of it, and it just gets to be like this fun little aspect of it. That, and then I also said, um, the things we never got The Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. So that series,
Mm.
The Things That We Never blah, 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 series by Lucy Score feels very, it's like romance with a oomph, with a
Mm.
little something else in it. Um, which is what I wanted my recommendations to kind of be. It's not so much fantastical. It's The Rising's kind of like weak on it. But there was something about these characters being like very flawed, but
Mm.
then also being like in a very realistic setting. Um, but then having this like great romance. Felt like my big three.
Nice. Good
What do you
recs.
think for you?
So for a fantasy sun, a romance moon, and a horror rising,
Yes.
I recommend Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell.
Okay,
It
okay,
is
okay.
a comedic romance horror.
Okay.
And it is so wonderful. It's about this like blob monster
Yeah.
who can change form and ends up helping slash kind of at the beginning using this person as a means to an end, but then finds out that they can both help each other in their own circumstances, and they end up falling in love.
Yay.
And it's so it's so kooky. Like the comedy in it feels
Yes.
so earned because the rest of it is so dark.
Yes.
And like it's horror. I would say it's horror first.
Yeah.
Um and it's body horror, it's a little bit of gore,
Yeah.
but everything else just adds to it. And I feel like it ends up creating this really wonderful, well-rounded story that you don't feel like you lose the romance. Like the romance does end up driving it. Um, and then the fantasy aspect comes in because of the blob monster of it all.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Uh, and it's so delightful. I feel like every time I think about like what what I want to read in horror, it's like
Yeah.
more of that. I want to be able to capture like a little bit of comedy and a little bit of romance inside of horror.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
Love, 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 love.
Okay. Last
Okay.
recommendations round.
So my recommendation for Fantasy Sun, Romance Moon, Horror Rising
Mm-hmm.
is A Game in Yellow by Haley Piper.
Ah.
This is a it's a horror genre. It's a horror novel first, and I don't want anyone to think anything else because it does give very like oh, it's kind of like romance. It's spooky dooky.
Mm.
Um, but it's about this couple, Carmen and Blanca, who are looking to like spice up their relationship a little bit. So they come across this person who gives them a like haunted play that you read. And through reading the play, you come to like the brink of death and then bringing yourself back from it um, gives you like euphoria and gives you like, and so it's this like, this beautiful like cat and mouse book about like chasing what you want, but also like knowing that things that you want for you aren't good. It is
Mm.
like fantastical. There's like magic plays. What? So silly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the romance in it is it's not we don't like 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 I would not say like it's like goals, you know,
Mm.
like it's like
Mm-hmm.
a little toxic, but there is romance in it. Um, but the horror aspect being um kind of like the catalyst for the romance felt very like yeah, this is a rising horror book.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just I think it's weird. It's also just weird, which I also feel like is kind of part of when I was looking at them, I'm like, What is so this is what I got closest to. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah. And you know me personally, since I'm taking this as a personal recommendation, I love a little bit of like death as a entity
Death is a character.
in the book.
And it's short. There's also
I
something
know.
about being short. You get in, you get out, man.
In and out.
Get in, you get out.
Okay, so I didn't know that Danielle had changed her
That's okay.
um her big three before we made our recommendations. So I have a couple.
Yes.
So for your first round of your big three, not so much horror. I was having trouble with the like horror rising. Um, but I really think The Geographer's Map to Romance by India Holton pulls in like there's a little bit of mystery, there's a little bit of hunting. The romance is super silly, goofy, fun. And
Yes.
then India's writing is always so whimsical and delightful, and the fantasy aspect is just like a beautiful cherry on top of a gorgeous dessert.
Yes.
Um, and it's about a married couple that hasn't seen each other in a year and ends up on an expedition together. And they're like trying to figure out how to exist in the same place
Yes.
because they actually both really love each other,
Mhm.
but have very different. And maybe this is somebody's horror novel,
Okay. Okay.
is the like emotional turmoil of thinking that you messed up what could have been a perfect relationship and the like inability to communicate
Yeah.
with your partner effectively.
Love.
Um, so that's one. I also think the Saint of Steel series by T. Kingfisher.
Okay.
Uh, this is medieval fantasy, but all of the books are romance driven.
Love.
The the situations that the characters find themselves in and are um put in
Yes.
are emotionally driven by their attraction and like growing fondness for their love interests. And each of them has really great like trope
Yes.
stuff. Like two and three is really great forced proximity.
Yeah.
The first book, he falls first and is like so obsessed with her.
Love.
I have to reread the fourth book, because that the trope ones are missing in me, but like mysterious spy
Yeah.
woman,
Yes.
um, and like independent woman
Yes.
who doesn't need a man, but is nonetheless fulfilled with love.
Yes.
Um, and in all of them, there's this like demon aspect. So in the first book, we get introduced to the main plot line that kind of we follow throughout the series, which is that there is something terrorizing people in the town and severing their heads, and there are severed heads popping up. And in the first book, one of the paladins is like very worried about these severed heads, and
Okay.
he is like, nobody's worried about the severed heads, and everybody's like, I don't know, this just doesn't really seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
And then in the second book, they are, by the end of the first book, they figure out the type of creature that is creating this problem, but they don't know where they came from. The second book is doing more questing to one, get the word out that this is happening, and two, potentially find a solution to the problem. The third book, we take a little bit of a side quest
Okay.
and we don't really deal with the severed head issue as much. And it's a little bit more about like the overall fantasy of the world. This series connects in like a greater universe to her Clockwork Boys books.
Okay.
So you can read it as a standalone. They explain enough about the magic and the like where some of the like mechanical magic comes from that we deal with in the third book,
Mhm.
that you don't have to read those Clockwork Boys books, but you could if you wanted to. They're fun. And then the fourth book, we get a little bit more like demon expansion in the world. And like
Love.
we know that demons exist because there's a like sect of paladins that deal with demons and they talk about demons that take over the bodies of farm animals and blah blah blah. It's like it's just this like fun thing. And there's shifters, there's like very mild magic users
Yeah.
who have like very small, like there's somebody they don't know how they figured it out. Their like small piece of magic is that they can warm drinks.
Very useful.
Like that's their thing. And then you have other people who can like imbibe will into objects. Like it's just
A
this
big
like
difference.
it's just a range of magic use. And it's so delicious and delightful.
Juicy.
But then I wanted to think about this like essay collection thing. So this is a recommendation light because I haven't read it yet.
Yes.
So we'll have to touch base when I do eventually read it. Um, but I have this The Way Spring Arrives and Other Stories,
Mm.
a visionary team of female and non-binary creators, edited by Yu Chen and Regina Conyu Wang. And this is a collection of Chinese science fiction and fantasy books.
Ooh.
Um, and featuring imaginative stories and compelling essays written by 28 award-winning authors, translators, and scholars.
Beautiful
And
cover.
stunning,
Beautiful.
stunning cover. So it says, in The Way Spring Arrives and Other Stories, you can dine at a restaurant at the end of the universe, cultivate to immortality in the high mountains, watch roses perform Shakespeare, or arrive at the island of the gods on the backs of giant fish to ensure that the world can bloom. Written, edited, and translated by a female and non-binary team, these stories have never been published in English and represent both the richly complicated past and vivid future of Chinese science fiction and fantasy. Time travel to a winter's day on the West Lake, explore the very boundaries of death itself, and meet old gods and new heroes in this stunning new collection. So I feel
Ooh.
like this is a little bit more in line. I don't know. I can't imagine that there's not romance in here somewhere. I feel like
Yes.
out of a whole essay collection,
Someone's got
one
to talk about it.
one of these stories is going to have a little bit of romance in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I could be wrong.
Hey, hey, and we'll never know until you read it.
I mean, I will. We'll find out when I read it.
True, 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 true. Love.
So,
Yay! Great job,
those
us.
are our recommendations.
Great job, us. So fun. This was fun. I can't wait to read your. I feel like also this was like a. I've been telling you to read this series for a long time, or I've been telling you to read this book for a long time. It's time for you to read it.
Chop, chop,
Recommendation. Uh,
chop, chop.
which, two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once.
Exactly.
Um, my current read is pretty quick.
Okay.
This is, I'm reading a romance book right now.
Mm.
It's called Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. I was under the impression she was a Canadian author. She is not. I was like, oh, she's Canadian. And then I was like,
Nope.
she's literally from Connecticut. I was like, okay, oops. Um, it is a romance series about the Fox brothers, who are like, I don't think they run a whiskey distillery, but they are like their family owns kind of like that's their like
Sure.
it's either like a farm or it's a cake shop or whatever, but there's whiskey distillery. Um,
Got it.
our main character, Lanny, I think is how you say her name, like Del or Laney. I think
Blaney?
probably not Lanny, uh, Laney like Delaney. I think. Um,
Mm.
she basically a woman approaches her in the middle of the night and is a victim of a serial killer who has gotten away. And she helps this woman. And now the serial killer is after her. And she has to be put in witness protection, which is where I got that from earlier in the episode. So this is a witness protection romance. So she gets
Ah.
placed with whatever this guy's name is. They're all Fox with two X's, and that's all that matters to me. Um, who is like an ex-cop now working more in like the family business, who in the first chapter we see his like girlfriend, love of his life, dies on the job, and so now he's like wounded. Ugh.
Oof.
It's just like it's fine so far. It's fine.
Mm.
It's two POVs. It's first person, so it switches between her POV and his POV, which is not my favorite way a romance book. Like I've much preferred third person for romance. Um, but it's fun. It's fine. It's a little fun little romp. I saw it in the bookstore and I was like, um, it gave me like do you remember like Juniper Ridge? Like that series that
Yes.
I was reading, it
Yeah.
was like it revolves around a family. It's kind of everybody's romance story within. And it gave me that vibe and I was like, I've been
Yeah.
chasing that high and I was like, okay, maybe I'll like this. I'm not far enough into it to form an opinion, but I
Mm.
also did like that um the cover art was not done by AI, which I did appreciate. I like I that's what kind of made me pick it up. I was like, is this AI? And then I like looked
Oh,
into it and was like, no, this is
no, it's not.
someone actually did this. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. It also has it's just so strange that it's like this like I feel like everyone's like, and now we can all have
We
cool
can all have sprayed edges.
we can all have straight edges. And there's just something really funny, I think, about this like witness protection serial killer romance, like being like, and then also you get
And
an
also,
exclusive cover. There's something so silly about that. Um, it's fine so far. I'm hoping that the relationships it gets a little bit better because right now it's kind of like and he's just hot and he has little like salt and pepper hair and he's
mm,
grumpy and I'm like I hope it gets a little bit like I hope we get more of the serial killer like aspect versus like oh this thing happened at the beginning and then we're never gonna come back to it.
mm,
So that's my hope, that's my dream. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll keep you updated.
cool. Love that. Um, the book I was reading until 4 in the morning last
What?
night. So I have been working through a mini TBR from my physical TBR challenge of like monster romance or monster romance adjacent books that I could find in my physical TBR because I've really been in a like monster romance, fantasy romance mood.
Yes.
I've had this book forever. It's called not the demon, The Dragon Knight and the Coveted.
Oh,
And it's a dragon shifter romance.
you love a dragon shifter.
I love a dragon shifter. Now, there I can feel two ways about this book, and I do.
Things can be true at once. Yes.
The author is very Asha Neer, I think that's how you say it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is very upfront at the beginning and in the author's note that this book was written to deal with their sexual assault trauma.
Okay.
So there is a lot of that in the book.
Okay.
And I think, unfortunately, it does read like a very, very rough draft, especially after reading the author's note, where the book feels like the author used this as like an emotional
Coping mechanism.
outlet.
Yeah.
There's not enough of the fantasy elements carved out to make this feel like a fully fleshed out book.
Okay.
It has a really good skeleton, which is why I was reading it until four
Yeah.
in the morning. Ultimately, it's like a 2.5 star,
Yeah. Love.
which is like funny that I finished a two and a half
Yeah.
star book. So
You had to.
this book follows Kian,
Yeah.
who is a knight general for the king. And he is currently on a mission to free slaves because the king is like, slaves no more. Like, we're not keeping slaves. Stop it.
Great.
And after we meet him after he has freed a bunch of slaves, he has come back to the king to be like, okay, what's the next mission? And then he is tasked with finding one specific slave.
Uh, okay.
And it's like, okay, how are they going to find her? Why do they need to find her?
Okay. Yeah.
We don't know. They never get into how he finds the house she's living in.
Okay.
They never get into who tasked him, like who went to the king and was like, this person because XYZ. Like, there's no explanation of
He
that.
opened a phone
We
book and he said, "Find me this one."
no, we literally go from his POV of being tasked with her,
Yeah.
meeting her,
Yeah.
to then her meeting him because he's at dinner in the house that she serves in.
Whoa. Okay.
And I was like, I need the connective tissue.
You're
And
like,
now
oh my gosh.
that's where a lot of my like issue with the book, there's no connective tissue bringing us from point A to point B. It's just like this thing happens, we're now here.
Yeah.
And that's just not we need the why, we need the how.
Yes. It's just been plotted out. These are the
Yeah,
sequences of events that is
exactly.
happening.
So then I have to look at Elpis is the female main character.
Okay.
And she is a pleasure slave. So her virginity has been kept intact,
Okay.
but she is like given to people that come to the house to pleasure in whatever way they see fit outside of penetration.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
She wears like this chastity belt, which it's like a locked chastity belt, and they never describe what it looks like. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it must be like a giant gold diaper.
Metal diaper. Yeah.
Like that's what it has to be.
Yeah. You left me no
And
choice but to assume.
yeah, because like otherwise people would have just raped her in other ways, like in more than the ways they already were. So
Mm.
the
Mhm.
general is at this dinner.
Yeah.
She is sent into the dining room to serve and do a little dance for him.
Serve. Yeah. Sorry.
Serve.
Sorry.
And over the course of his stay, because he ends up staying there, she is told to go with him to his room and she attempts to pleasure him. And he is like, no, I don't want that.
Okay.
But there's like a lot of rules around how slaves can interact with people. So she has to kind of like tell him without telling him, like, I have to do this. So he ends up faking her pleasuring him,
Okay.
like moaning, acting it out.
Easy A of it all. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a handler outside the door
I thought slaves were free though. Why is she not free?
because he's freeing the slaves.
Oh, 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 oh.
There are
We're in the
slave,
process of.
we're in
Gotcha.
the process of, there are slaveholder sympathizers who are protecting these slaveholders.
I received. I was like, but what? What?
No, and it's confusing
Okay,
because
got you.
we don't really get the before. And I do think it's important to say this is the second book in the series. But it says on page one,
Did
there's
you
like
read the
a
first book?
no. It says in the content warning,
Yeah.
though this is the second book, it can be read as a standalone.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's kind of crazy.
if it's a standalone, all the information that I need to know to understand this book should be in it.
Has to be in that book. Received. That's
So
really funny.
we come to find out that they like do a body check on the women after. They like
Oh,
I don't really understand how you could like inspect the mouth and
I don't know.
find out, but
Sure, 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 sure,
whatever.
sure, sure,
They
sure.
inspect her mouth, find out that she did not pleasure him, and she gets put in this like punishment cell. Whatever. He ends up being gifted her. And then we find out that there is a traitor amongst everybody. So he's been double crossed, and the guy. that owns the house with the slaves has been double crossed. And now Kian and Elpis are on the run trying to get to his, like, they call it a, forget what they call it, an inferno. I think it's like a cadre essentially of warriors,
Okay.
and like get back to the king so that they can figure out like who is plotting, who is trying to keep these slave people in power. And we also are finding out a little bit about Elpis because she's not fully human. They keep calling her shiftless because her,
Forgot
like,
this was a dragon shifter.
it's a dragon
I
shifter.
totally
It's a
forgot this was a
dragon
dragon shifter.
shifter.
Sorry. Yes.
So so she can't shift. She doesn't have
Oh
a
my
beast
God.
to shift
Okay.
into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many layers. This is an
So
onion.
many layers. Um, and to top it all off, because we don't have enough to think about.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So Kian, the way that they're like tied to their shifter
Okay.
is when you're in your human form, you can talk to your beast.
Love.
Now, they needed to outline early on. There are different types of shifters in this book.
Okay.
They're not exclusively dragon shifters, and you can mate with any type of shifter. So like a dragon shifter can mate with a cat shifter.
Okay. Love is love.
Love is
Okay.
love. Love is love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love it.
So
Received.
when Ian can hear his dragon in his mind, his dragon's name is Toast.
Aww. Okay.
Toast and him are like the strongest dragon in a generation.
Okay. Okay.
The
Sure.
like god of the world that like imbibes people with their powers once in a generation has this like special type of dragon shifter,
Okay.
and he is that. However, Toast has a little trauma from a memory he watched of Kian's, and so he doesn't let Kian touch women.
Uh,
He's scared of them.
uh,
And
okay.
Kian doesn't know why, because Kian doesn't remember this memory.
What's the memory?
Um, the memory, this is a spoiler. The memory is that when he was a kid, his dad was taking him to the castle a bunch, and he ended up becoming like friends, but not really friends because the princes and princesses were like little assholes with the princes and princesses. One of
Okay.
the princesses, it was starting to become clear that he was like this special dragon.
Gotcha.
Um, one of the princesses is like, "You're gonna be my mate," blah, 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 blah. They're like 9 years old. And he's like, "No," ends up pushing him off a roof. And instead of trying to get help, they're like, he must be dead. And they bury him alive. And the groundskeeper ends up like coming upon them as they're like finishing burying his body. And the groundskeeper saves him.
Oh my God. What's so random?
It's so random. It's so messed up. And as he's like being treated, they have a witch like put a curse on the memory so that he can't
Gotcha.
remember.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
when his dragon comes into being when he's like in his late teens,
Yeah.
the dragons can watch all of your memories, and he like is able to work around the curse and watch it. And
Okay.
so he's been living like Kian's whole adult life with this, but won't tell Kian why. He's just like, no, women are off limits. And Kian is like, I have needs.
That is crazy.
So there's also this like, they know she's their fated mate,
Oh,
but Toast is scared.
Toast is spooked, you guys.
Um, and like so much
I was gonna
happens.
say, like, this book is so small for all of that.
So I like it's kind of small font. So
Yeah.
like a lot happens in a in a page, but then also like not a lot happens.
Well, and you said there's no connected tissue, so I feel like it's like, and then we
No.
go here, and then we go here, and then we go here.
All of the action sequences are quick, quick, quick. Like there's
Yeah.
no like we're not getting into it. The sex sequences are also pretty repetitive. Like we don't really get a little bit of variation. Um and yeah, it's it's like I see the vision
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the journey,
Yeah.
but I didn't love the execution.
Yes.
And that's this book.
I love that you were up until 4 a.m. reading it. You're like, I
No,
need
I
to
was like, if I put this down, I'm DNFing it. So I
literally.
have to, and I skimmed a ton. Like it got to points where I was like, I don't need to know this. We're moving on.
I don't care. Love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. If you're
So
looking
there
for
we go.
two mediocre book recommendations, we got them for you.
And with that, we have wrapped this episode. As we said, if we didn't talk about your specific zodiac sign, one, you could go back and watch our PowerPoint episode from last season where Danielle gives recommendations for all the zodiac signs. Or let us know if we should do a little repeater on this and give some more recommendations.
Yes.
Please go ahead and head on over to our Instagram to let us know that you made it to the end of the episode. And on our most recent Instagram post, I would say
Yeah.
story, you should the
I think
leave your star sign as an
yes.
emoji or tell us what your big three genre breakdown is.
Yeah, your bookish big three.
What's your bookish big three?
Love.
While you're on Instagram, you could go ahead and follow me and Danielle so that you stay up to date with what we are doing outside of the podcast. And if you want to follow us elsewhere, I'm at Deirdre's Digital Diary on Instagram, TikTok, Deirdre Rose Morgan on YouTube, probably switching to Deirdre's Digital Diary, and I'm Enchanted Echoes on Bindery.
Yes. And I'm DJ Books on TikTok, Instagram, and on Threads.
Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Our episodes are coming out every Wednesday through the summer, and we will chat to you in the next one. Bye.